Hey everyone, so it's been like 3 weeks since I've done one of these, so let's do another one. I get to see this stuff every day, so sometimes it's hard to really track progress when you see things grow up a little bit every day, but if I go back and check that video from 3 weeks ago, I think I'm gonna be surprised on how much things are growing now as they were before. Okay, let's flip this camera around and get started. So here's the farm. I don't know if I did a good job overlaying everything. This is one area that I rent. It's 10 acres, only about 1/6 of an acre is in this production here, and then I have this hoop house, but that's basically all the garden production. The rest I run sheep on, which I'll have to show you a quick video. I'll have to shoot that again because they're basically in the neighbor's place right now. They're down that way. But let's go check out some vegetables and see how we're doing. This is an interesting area. These are a couple trays of lettuce that are gonna get planted this week. I started a bunch of flowers this year. Not so much to sell, but basically I picked a bunch of things that bring insects into the garden. A lot of people try to kill everything that comes in the garden, but when I have insect problems, I bring on more insects because it seems like for every one bad insect, there's probably a dozen good ones. So if you have a few that are kind of running the show and eating your radish tops or putting holes in your arugula, we got to bring some ones that eat those bugs that put the holes in the arugula or eat the tops of your radishes. So hey, I'm gonna be spending a lot of time in this place this week because it's gonna be wet today. Today is one of 2 days where it looks like there's only like a 40% chance of showers for a couple hours. So we're gonna try to squeeze in all of our work in those times because it's hard to do any of this stuff while it's pouring down rain, but stuff keeps growing. Anyways, I got tomatoes are coming along pretty well. Got that row filled out. I think I just had a few plants last time I did this video. So these are the plants that got hit by the frost. They look like they're finally turning around a little bit. I think they were about ready to get transplanted and I just had them sitting in the pots for a little bit too long. But we're moving. I got the irrigation in maybe 2 weeks ago, last week. This is all soaker hose, so it's nice because I can turn that on and just leave it, and then the whole hoop house just gets a nice soaking deep irrigation, which is what you want for these tomatoes. Whereas before I was walking up and down the rows with either a hose or the watering wand and trying to do it by hand, which is hard to do evenly and waste a bunch of time. So here's the microgreens for this week. The peas and sunflowers were planted at the same time, but I find the peas are kind of going slow. These are 2 trays from last week that I decided not cut because the ones feel like they could use another day, but I think I might cut these now. They have a nice little tendril on them, and I don't think they're gonna taste any better if I let them get bigger. So debating, I might mix those in with either the arugula mix or the lettuce mix this week, but we'll see. There's the radishes. You guys know the radishes. More peas from this week. Cucumbers, yeah. 4 trays of cucumbers going on. All these summer crops. Man, when you put a seed in the ground, they explode. These things are only like 20 days old, and they're already screaming to get out of their pots. And I gotta find a place to plant them. We'll figure it out. Always do. Here's a new spot. This is how I start new plots, or I try to when I have a lot of time. This works out really well. I use plastic tarps, and that basically stifles out the grass and leaves you a nice planting surface. If you have a couple months to do this, this works out well. You don't need a big tarp like this if you're doing your home garden, but if you do have some cardboard or something, you can choke out a grass section and just leave it there, and then uncover it and throw some compost down or throw some nice topsoil on top of that. You have a great planting surface. That was really minimal effort, no tillage required, so you're maintaining all that magic that's going on in the soil. And that only will help your vegetables grow. It'll give you a good start. All right, let's get into the garden. I gotta mow this perimeter once a week, so I got that done yesterday morning. It's kind of a nice early week activity. It makes you slow down a little bit, kind of give you time to look at things, and kind of make a plan for the week on what has to happen. Gonna eat that. Just picked these radishes out of the ground. I harvested from this bed last week, and then this week I just cleaned it out, pulled everything. You see some of the radishes didn't quite meet the quality standards of Bunker Farms, but the ones that made it, I bunch up in a row, put that in the side, and then I'll collect them up and get them into the fridge. Let's see, here's a row of beets. This was a bunch of head lettuce from last week. That's all cleared out, so I'll be planting either spinach or carrots into that. I was hoping these would be ready. These are turnips, but I think they need another week yet. So look forward to turnips soon, but not yet. Never grown bok choy before, but they're coming in nice. They're under the bug net too, and it looks like they're, it's kind of hard to see what's going on, but it looks like they're coming in nice and the bugs are staying off. There's one hole, but looks like those are going to come out real nice, real pretty. Planted some Swiss chard here and more lettuce. Everyone loves lettuce, hopefully. Hopefully you're enjoying your salads. CSA has been very salad heavy up front early in the season here. Here I tried out some new crops as well. This is kohlrabi. If you haven't had kohlrabi before, it's like a baseball shaped broccoli head, except no flowers. It's just kind of like the meat of the broccoli. So I got 6 feet of the white and 6 feet of the red. And then here is a row of radishes that I put down. As you notice, I'm not bug covering these, but I had some fleece that I put over top. It's really thin. It kind of keeps the bugs off for the first crucial stage where these leaves are forming. So when you get these guys coming on and the flea beetles hit them hard, that'll really set them back. So instead of having to run an expensive bug net though, I covered them with the fleece and let them actually just push the fleece up. And so they're holding the whole thing up. And then just yesterday I pulled it off. The problem with this method is that you do get a bunch of rain. It's just like this wet blanket that's sitting on this, where that'll cause problems. I was kind of forced to take it off now because this week is just rain. All right, what do we got here? Another, I think that was seeded last week. More turnips and such. Here we got a nice bed of spinach. Don't think I'll cut this week, but that'll be coming the week after. Yeah, it's coming out. The unevenness is going away. I'm getting better at fertilizing. I think that was the real problem. A lot of that compost will sit on the bed from last year. When you try to mix that in, a bunch of carbon gets mixed into the soil. And when you have a bunch of carbon, that'll pull out a lot of nitrogen, and the plants need that nitrogen to grow. So you're building soil, your soil should be getting better, but if you're not pulling out vegetables, you can't really be doing that for too long and not make any money. That's what happened with this bed too. So this is gonna be, I'm gonna cut this week, but you'll notice there's a lot of these yellow leaves underneath the bottom. And I think that was suffering from that nitrogen deficiency as well. So after I cut that, gosh, I think that wasn't last week's share, that was the week before, you guys got some of this Russian kale. I went back and fertilized it with some fish emulsion, some liquid fish emulsion, which I don't usually do because it's not very cost prohibitive or cost efficient. It's pretty expensive stuff, but it's nice. You can let it soak in, and responded. So that tells me that it is a bit of a fertilizer problem that lets me be able to come back and cut these beds multiple times, because let me tell you, you can get a lot of stuff out of here, but it's a lot of work to pull all these plants out by hand. They're all kind of in nice rows, so you kind of straddle the bed and rip out one row, rip out another row, rip out another row, rip out another row, but you got to do that for 40 feet, and that takes a lot of time. So you really want to get as many cuts out of you can of a bed as you can. Otherwise, you're just going to be planting stuff, harvesting it once, and then pulling it all out again, which is really not. I don't have that much time anymore in my life. Anyways, that's kind of what happened with the spinach bed. See, this one I cut 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's just not growing back very well. So I think I'm going to rip this one out to plant more, because I'm needing more planting space. And you just saw the other spinach that's coming back over here, or that's growing in pretty nice over here. And then I have another bed of spinach here that I actually put some of that fish fertilizer on too. Really hoping that fish taste doesn't come through because it's smelly. But yeah, apologize if that happens. Anyways, let's go on the back side of the garden here. Coming down, just planted these last night. These are a bunch more tomatoes, doing these outdoors. So these are gonna be your bigger slicer tomatoes. I'm gonna have to put up a trellis system for these, but I'll show you what that looks like in a future movie. Carrots and beets are coming along. I like to sneak a carrot every once in a while. They're not quite big enough yet, but I think in another week or so, we're gonna find some good ones. Yeah, see, here we go. This is just a little preview. I'm just gonna tell you how good it tastes. But I like these little baby ones. It's just a shame they're so small. There's a little bit of dirt off there before I munch it. Oh yeah. The beets are coming in. They're gonna be a little bit funny shaped because I transplanted these. You don't get quite a nice round bulb when you're transplanting, but it's nice I can get these started so early. Let's see if I can show you what's going on. But there's always a bunch of beets in a single cell when you put them in the ground. So there they are. They're a little bit elongated, but I imagine in another week they'll be good size. And start picking the good ones out of there. It'll probably take me 2 or 3 weeks to whole bed as ones size up. Got another bed full of carrots. Not really full. This was kind of the one that didn't germinate so well. Quite a few weeds in there too. But I'll probably rip that out and put some cucumbers in there. Here you go. Broccoli's coming along nice. I've got like 20 heads of broccoli, and there's 20 broccoli plants, and there's 16 of you guys, or 16 shares. So I hope I get someone to work out, but you can see it's coming. Broccoli is a heavy feeder, so I fertilize these guys again too to make sure they form nice, beautiful heads. Kale's coming along. I think I'll pick some for you guys for this week for kale. And then here at the end of the bed, we have a couple collard plants. I think I'll be able to get enough collard bunches for you this week. So we're getting some big greens instead of these little baby greens finally. I hope you guys enjoy those. Thanks for putting up with all the salad. I hope you like salad. Yeah, the garden is up completely, so these don't look like they have anything in it. But here is a row of potatoes. I've never grown potatoes, but I did a couple plants last year and they tasted awesome. So we did a full 80 feet, and then I still had some leftover seed yet, and I put down in that other far 30-foot section. Also last night transplanted, here we have more Swiss chard. Here we have a bunch of basil, lots of little basil plants. And here we got a little section of parsley. Those were all started in transplant flats and then transplanted out here in little plugs. Parsley's hard to germinate, so usually I want more than just 3 feet worth of plants, but plant what I got and then figure out how to germinate later. And then okay, here we go. This is the garlic. We have the scapes are starting to form. I'll be picking those soon. See if I can't find a good example what a scape looks like. Oh, here we go. So here, if you look at this little center, this is what would be called the scape. And that's where eventually the seed head will form. But when you're growing garlic, after that starts to form and put on some decent length and volume, you're supposed to cut it off, and it makes the bulb head grow bigger and fatter. But turns out the garlic scapes are really tasty to eat. So once that happens, I'm going to cut those and put those in the shares for you guys to enjoy those as well. Yeah, it's a pretty great feeling to have this thing filled up. Always a lot more work to do to be like, now that's filled, you got to kind of harvest things, pull them out, flip the bed over, plant it again. But when it's full, you're at max production. This bed is planted too, even though it doesn't look like it. I put this to zucchinis. I got the standard green zucchini, and then I have the yellow patty pan squash with a little green spot on it. I think it's called Sunburst. And then I planted a couple feet of bush beans back there. They're really not very profitable. They take forever to harvest, but I like beans. They're kind of cool. But I'll pass those along to you guys, and hopefully you'll like them too. All right, so that's about it. Got another pile of compost. I got compost from Panorama Pay Dirt. They use city leaves and they use chicken manure from nearby farms. So it's a really local product. It's really consistent. You got to kind of learn how to use it, but it's nice to have fertility on tap. Just make a phone call and then I have a pile of carbon that's ready to put onto a garden bed. All right, well, that was like 15 minutes. So thanks for watching the garden tour. I'll probably throw something up with the sheep here real quick. But thanks for watching. All right, enjoy.